There are times where I just feel movies intentionally rage bait you. They go in one direction, you are prepared for the twist that will follow, but the makers take some of the most odd decisions that completely catch you off guard. So much so that you genuinely wonder how the makers took possibly the most illogical decision out of all the options available. Especially when this happens in the climax, in the concluding moments of the film, you can't help but facepalm in frustration. Through this video, I want to talk about 5 movies and their endings that genuinely frustrated me. You know, I have famously spoken about the rage I felt looking at Anushka Sharma's bald head in Ye Dil Hai Mushkil, the flying Edward Cullen that Allu Arjun embodied in the climax of Pushpa 2, the absolutely dumb mission to Mars in Zero, and most notably, the human sacrifice cult in Leo that had everyone frustrated in theaters. We are not going to be talking about those movies. I have a new set of films that I really want to discuss with all of you. Movies and their endings that rage baited me into oblivion. I will not be mentioning movies that end on cliffhangers promising us a part 2 that never happened, because that will be discussed in another video altogether. As the video will contain spoilers and it is a combination of old films and new, I will be providing chapters to the movies. You might get an aneurysm listening to some of these plots, so I am warning you, the chapters will be presented for those who want to experience the film themselves and get enraged. So here is Tried and Refused Productions with 5 stupid Bollywood movie endings that will rage bait you. MUJHSE Dosti Karoge. You know what a Hrithik Roshan stan I am. So often on lazy weekends, I do feel like revisiting some older films, not only to see the evolution of actors but also see how bad can the flops really be. MUJHSE Dosti Karoge is a movie whose elements I had largely forgotten about, and upon revisiting it, I must tell you all that it is worse than I even imagined. Hear me out. Rani Mukherjee writes letters to Hrithik Roshan as he shifts to London, pretending to be Kareena Kapoor, as since they were children, Hrithik only liked Kareena and he had friend-zoned Rani. A lot of pretending and confusion follows. Hrithik gets to know that Rani was the one writing the letters. Hrithik and Rani embrace each other. They want to tell this to their family, but a loss in Kareena's family makes them not tell her this news. So just not to hurt Kareena, the best friend and the fake pen pal assume it's best to act as if no confusion ever happened. But Hrithik feels guilty in marrying Kareena instead of Rani. So hear this out. He claims it to be a sacrifice, but he says he won't give this sacrifice alone. He promises in dramatic fashion in a church by swearing that he will get married to Kareena, but only if on the same day Rani gets married to someone else. The entire film after this is spent in Hrithik playing wingman by introducing Uday Chopra as an eligible candidate for Rani, but also hitting her with insecure sly remarks while literally being the one who came up with this stupid idea. He keeps on dilly-dallying between pretending with Kareena that he is all game to get married, but personally going to Rani and hitting her with, "Are we really doing the right thing?" Never having the slightest courage to come clean. Hrithik keeps on forcing Rani to fall in love with Uday and marry him fast, making her feel guilty for not doing it fast enough. Slyly also mentioning, "Or is it, do you love someone else? I dare you to marry Uday Chopra." Like the dude wants to do every convoluted BS then just be straight up with Kareena. When Rani ends up agreeing to marry Uday Chopra, he gives her the "हमारे एक ही दिन में अलग अलग लोगों के साथ शादी होगी, इससे बड़ी खुशी की बात क्या ही हो सकती है." They land up on the day of the marriage, still not having the courage to be truthful, and it is the fate of God, Krishanji and Radha themselves, with the help of the wind, making the sindoor from the plate to fall by chance from Hrithik's hand to the forehead of Rani Mukherjee. Krishanji himself got so frustrated by these fools that he had to intervene, making it genuinely one of the most illogical rom-coms I have seen from the 2000s that's only popular because of its medley and nothing more. De De Pyaar De 2. Imagine starring in a sequel to a movie and becoming a bystander and supporting role in the entire tale. That was the experience of Ajay Devgan in De De Pyaar De 2. This franchise justified cheating in the first film. Tabu, after sleeping with her husband, who she has been separated from since years, says the most tone-deaf line to get Rakul back into his life.
क्या एक बार सोने से प्यार हो जाता है तो एक बार सोने से खो कैसे जाता है?
In the second film, we are preparing for their wedding, but Madhavan hates the fact that the groom is essentially in his age demographic. So he employs Mizan Jafri to work his magic so that Rakul falls in love with him instead. Think about the convoluted nature of this film. When Rakul gets to know that Mizan has been sent to replace Ajay, she doesn't tell him to buzz off. She doesn't convince him that she is happy and content with Ajay. She comes up with a plan, and the plan will put Abbas Mastan movies to shame. She intentionally does romantic gestures in front of Ajay to make him jealous. She intentionally, without any feeling for Mizan, makes out with him so that he feels jealous, and Ajay, without creating any drama, actually just walks away. The elaborate plan is still to carry on. She announces a marriage with Mizan. Her plan is now to give mini announcements of the wedding developments to Ajay in collusion with Javed Jafri, in the hope that Ajay's inner Singham will appear and he will gate crash the wedding. But the conspiracy and plan doesn't end here. Even Madhavan needs to feel guilty, so she employs her family members to give him micro-dosing of guilt that what he's making Rakul do is wrong, vagera vagera. The final clincher of sabotage is to cry on the Sangeet in front of the father so that the father's love overflows so much that he takes personal responsibility in going to London and getting Ajay himself. The climax is essentially both Madhavan and Ajay going to the wedding of Rakul and Mizan till the mandap, convincing her that he does love her. None of this was required. None at all. It makes me conclude that the crux of any Love Ranjan produced rom-com can be solved by a simple conversation that all the characters refuse to have until the final scene. The climax of the first film rage-baited you, and this just made me want to leave the theatre before the end credits rolled. Phir Aayi Haseen Dilruba. If you want to talk about two sets of writers that will definitely feature in a Bollywood listicle like this, then you know it will either be Love Ranjan or the wild combination of Kanika Dhillon and Himanshu Sharma. These set of writers cook up sometimes such khichdis, it often blows my mind. A Kanika Dhillon project that was passable at best was Haseen Dilruba, but its sequel, Phir Aayi Haseen Dilruba, was where all the raita had been spilled. We thought that Vikrant getting away with a bomb blast and living happily ever after with Taapsee was convenient, but at least marginally entertaining. But the sequel presented a psychotic and obsessive Sunny Kaushal who could do anything to have Taapsee in his life. As Taapsee and Vikrant are on the run, evading the police and living separately, their plans to run away to Thailand fail. So Taapsee thinks of getting married to psychotic Sunny so as to avoid more pressure from a police investigation. Taapsee is put in jail for a murder she did not commit, and there is pressure on Vikrant to come out from hiding. Vikrant agrees to turn himself in with the added stipulation that Taapsee walks and meets him to ensure that she is safe. All of this demanded from the police. The meeting point should be in the middle of a bridge over which a train passes that is above crocodile-infested waters. And the police agrees, because where are the red flags? Sunny, in the getup of a police officer, lands up on the bridge, representing the jilted lovers who have the right to kill for being betrayed. A scuffle ensues and they fall in the water and are presumed to be dead. But it is later revealed that this was all planned, just like the Manohar Kahanis by Dinesh Pandit titled Magarmach Ka Shikanja. It is revealed that Vikrant and Sunny feed mass to crocodiles for days so that they won't attack them on the night they are coming to the bridge. Sunny wanted Taapsee and Vikrant to reunite, so he planned this ordeal, but he is psychotic and obsessed with Taapsee too. So while they were struggling in the water, Sunny spots an attacking crocodile and pulled off Vikrant's prosthetic hand, deeming him incapable to swim, and the assumption was that he may have drowned or has been eaten by a crocodile. 6 months later, Sunny and Taapsee are in the hills and Taapsee wants to confess something, so she calls Sunny and the police on the edge of a cliff. Because drama is their forte. She states Sunny killed Vikrant and tells Sunny that his punishment is that he will never be with her. Jumping after that statement, free falling from the edge of a cliff, the assumption being that she is dead as she has fallen from such a height. But aise thodi na. Vikrant actually fought the crocodile by placing his prosthetic arm inside his mouth and stabbing him and swimming away. Taapsee survives the free fall, swims away and reunites with Vikrant to flee once again. The only interesting part about this film is that it is revealed that Sunny is Dinesh Pandit's actual son. So a psychological thriller of a psychopath who got obsessed with his father's murder thrillers could still be interesting. But these Rishu and Rani need to take a hike and be forgotten forever. No entry. We have often spoken about the normalization of male infidelity in old Hindi movies, how it's usually presented with a soft landing of comedy because it is not really as much a red flag as it is when a woman cheats. The latter usually presented with trauma-filled dramas. No Entry is one of the most entertaining films of the 2000s that I personally remember watching in Wave Noida as a 10-year-old. I was genuinely laughing out loud with my parents and I did not even understand the moral implications of what the film was imparting. The film is a comedy of errors as two men, one married and one soon to be married, are enamored by the lifestyle of Prem played by Salman Khan, a man who constantly cheats on his wife played by Esha Deol.
जब भी आप घर पे नहीं होते थे, न जाने कितनी सारी लड़कियों के फोन आपके लिए आते थे और मैंने हर एक का मैसेज आपके लिए लिख कर रखा.
When Salman gets exposed for cheating for years, he goes to a cliff to commit. Confusion of course occurs and the three men are now at the edge of the cliff. Salman of course will only come up on one condition, that Esha Deol forgives him for the years of cheating with multiple women.
मुझे माफ कर दो.
प्रेम, ऊपर आ जाओ. मुझे तुमसे कोई शिकायत नहीं है.
When she agrees, basically because she was being threatened with suicide, they have the most odd exchange that will make you conclude that nothing has changed.
अगर मैं तुम्हारी पत्नी होती और तुम मेरे पति होते, मैं तुम्हें कभी नहीं माफ करता. इसलिए आज के बाद जो तुम कहोगी, मैं करूंगा.
Salman then of course gives a moral lecture on how he will be the best husband in the whole wide world.
तुम्हारे सर की कसम खा के कहता हूँ कि इस दुनिया की सबसे अच्छी पत्नियों से अच्छा पति बनकर दिखाऊंगा.
But do you remember that there was a scene right after this? I had completely forgotten about this. The husbands are chilling with their wives 5 years later and they present a scantily clad Sameera Reddy appear out of nowhere. The men constantly ogle at her as she walks in slow motion. Last frame is them still staring, still ogling, still being the dogs that they always were. Manje, पूरे film का हृदय परिवर्तन कभी हुआ ही नहीं. Who is the clown? Us and these girls.
सचमुच अब तुम सुधर गए.
Cocktail 2. A film that rage baited me into oblivion was the sequel to Cocktail. A film that I told all of you is crap when I saw it in theaters and many of you guys DM'd me saying that you watched it on Netflix. And I felt like just telling you guys.
I told you so.
I mean, I understand that it is the era of sequels and IP refreshments, but this film had literally no plot and just a vacation to Sicily with cash to burn. Why is Kriti Sanon interjecting herself into a romantic getaway of a couple? Why does Rashmika agree to change all her plans of Italy for Kriti when she is not even good friends with her? Rashmika is insecure about the relationship, so she instructs this acquaintance to try and sabotage it throughout the trip just to see if the man slips. This girl, who was never close friends with her, is her bridesmaid now, and she, who is now head over heels for Shahid, does everything leading up to the wedding to sabotage it, something that Rashmika at this point does not want. She roams around naked in the living room at night to intentionally give Shahid a glimpse, keeps on telling him that he is not happy with Rashmika, and you eventually get a situation where Shahid gets to know about this conspiracy formulated by the two witches from Macbeth, only to then lead to a random car chase in the climax. For what? To convince him that they are eligible for him? Shahid of course comes to the realization that his love was always there for Rashmika because she is the equivalent of a putty hui t-shirt or an old worn out Almira. It's old, wrinkled and aging, but it's mine. A parallel with how relationships may lead to partners simply coexisting and it not being exciting enough like it was in the heyday, but it does not discount the love that they still share for each other. Many shots from the trailer and songs never made it to the movie. This movie, with all honesty, would have been far more entertaining if the makers of the movie caved into the speculation and the twist that Kriti and Rashmika are revealed to be lesbian lovers. The film would have been far more interesting than a romantic climax where the hero compares the heroine to worn out furniture and clothes with the assumption that the audience will be swooned. Shahid and some of his script choices genuinely concern me. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what are some movie endings that genuinely rage baited you. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handles are in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.